and welcome to Project Information Generation. My name is Jeremy Perron, and we are speaking tonight with Allinduath Aldebaran and her mother, who is named Prosper. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing?
And Prosper, are you Prosper Aldebaran, or do you have a different name?
Actually, I'm Prosper Johnson.
Prosper Johnson.
That's my name.
Okay. So, would you like to just start by outlining how this all happened? How did this start happening?
Well, this started when I was a little kid. It's been ever since I can remember, really. I've been hearing a voice speaking to me. And actually, growing up, I was raised in charismatic Christianity, and so I thought that the voice was God or that the voice was Jesus. And then later, when I was 15, actually, this voice just started speaking to me on a very regular basis, and I started channeling like whole paragraphs, whereas before it was just he would give me a sentence or two, or I would see a vision, or I would have a dream or something. But then this one particular year, my abilities just really went flying, and he just started speaking to me in whole paragraphs. And what happened was he actually led me out of Christianity, and my mother actually started channeling along with me, where she would sit there. I was the one channeling, and she would sit there and she would write all of it down. And we started having these sessions every single morning where I was channeling every day. And I really got to know who these people were and what they wanted and why they were talking to me. And I'm saying they because it ended up being actually 4 people. And I found out that they weren't God. They are God because we're all the God source, but they were actually my guides, and they're on a council. It's called the Council for the Assistance to Earth, and they're here to help the human race during the Ascension Process, and they're here to help starseeds especially, because starseeds are coming in also to help with the awakening of humanity. That's why they're all sent in here. And the council is specifically helping to awaken human minds, help them become more aware of their potential as human beings and as divine beings. And they're always sending out these messages of awakening through the airwaves. And they're always chanting. They're sending out vibrations from their starships. They're located all around the earth, and they're sending out these vibrations. But it was just this whole journey over these past 5.5 years. That's how long I've been channeling them every day
daily, yeah.
with my mom here. Mm-hmm. And it was just this whole journey of coming out of Christianity, really coming to find myself, realizing that my beliefs weren't the only ones that were right, and really broadening my mind because in charismatic Christianity, you know, everything is so set.
Yeah. And
I remember, gosh, one of the first things that I channeled, actually from Thungidale, he was the one that contacted me, and like I said, I thought he was Jesus at the time, but one of the very first things he said to me, he asked me a question. He just started asking me all of these questions and trying to get my answers. And one day he said to me, "What is truth?" And he really stumped me. I had no idea why would he even ask that, because I was pretty convinced back then that the Bible was completely true.
Right.
And all of my beliefs were very set, and he talked to me about truth being something that you seek. And it isn't something that you can know simply. It's not just put right out in front of you. You have to keep seeking and seeking and seeking until you find it. And he said, go up to the heights, go down to the depths, and never stop seeking until you find out what the truth is.
Mm.
And I really, at that point, I realized, wow, maybe not all of this is true. Maybe not everything that I think is right. And I really wanted to get to know this voice, and I really wanted to get to know God and who was God. And I realized, maybe God isn't Jesus. And if Jesus weren't God, would I still love God?
Mm-hmm.
And that was really how all of this started for me, just opening my mind.
And would you still love Jesus as well?
Exactly. Would I still love Jesus if Jesus weren't God? Right.
That's brilliant. So that's what we'd call, or that's what my teachings would call an initiation, where you move from a blind faith position to a spiritual position.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you get on the path of seeking truth, which is fantastic. So that's a lovely story. And so that happened right at the beginning of your conversation with them?
Well, it was during a period of, I would say, about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Between the time that they started talking to me and the time that Mom and I really got completely out of Christianity, where we didn't, where we started interpreting. The first thing that they had us do was they started having us look at the Bible totally differently. They started telling us to look at Gnostic scriptures.
Uh-huh.
Big no-no in the church.
Oh, yeah.
Really? All right.
Oh, yeah. In our church, it was a big no-no to look at other scriptures, the other scriptures of Jesus,
Mm.
That was a big no-no.
All right. Okay.
So, but we went ahead and did it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the first concepts they introduced was the concept of Mother God. And so then I started having a female voice speak to me as well. And 2 of the members speaking to me are female, and 2 of the members speaking to me are male.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I said, it was just a whole process, but it took about 2 years to get completely out of those beliefs that I had. And then Mom and I started going to New Age churches and metaphysical circles.
Yeah, meditation groups.
I had never heard of anything, neither of us had heard of anything metaphysical or New Age in our lives, because it's something that you weren't allowed to look at it. It was sinful, it was demonic, and also the main thing was that it would open a door to evil spirits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you might be led
to
astray.
communicate with you. And so we never looked at it. We basically shunned those materials.
Mm.
And then we come to these metaphysical circles, and they're teaching everything that I've been channeling for the last 2 years with this council.
Right, yeah.
And Mom and I just kept looking at each other.
Right.
And
Wow.
yeah, Prosper
The wow
just,
factor. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
How
Prosper
factor.
just kept saying
Over and
this
over.
to me over and over again. Oh my gosh, you channeled that. You said that. They said that to you. So it was pretty funny.
It was also a confirmation, though, because
Yeah.
honestly, when this started happening, I mean, you can't help it to wonder, am I nuts? Are we totally going out of our minds? I mean, because what you're doing is when you've been in a system and then you make a change like this, it's somebody taking that system and just throwing it out the window. Well, then what do you have?
Yes.
So it's like trying to just start all over again, and even the basic questions like, okay, if God isn't what I thought God was, then what have I been talking to? I mean, it's like it just takes the rug and just yanks it out from under you. So it was actually good that when we went to these meditation groups and channeling sessions and hearing other people channel, that we were hearing some of the same things that she'd been hearing, and speaking for a couple of years, just the 2 of us there.
That's
And
lovely.
we realized we realized that we weren't the only ones on the planet
Yeah.
who saw it in this way.
We're not totally insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it takes the pressure off as well. I'm not
Yes.
the only Messiah.
That's right.
Right, there was that too, because, they were talking to us about, how we're here to lift the vibration, and I'm here to get out their messages and help lift the vibration of the planet. And yeah, when you think you're the only one, there was points of time where I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I have to save the whole planet myself. What am I going to do?
And two, you're coming out of this system where there's always been a Messiah. There's always been this one person that saves everybody. So you still kind of have that mentality. And so when we did go and meet this whole slew of people who actually thought like we did, that, like you said, it took the pressure off.
Yeah. So you can actually enjoy the whole ride of this now.
Yes. Right. Yeah. I mean, there is a big mission, but I mean, all star seeds have a big mission, and then all of the indigo people that have come in too. They all have this mission, which is to help increase the vibration of the planet so that the ascension process takes place and completes itself.
And that should be a joy. I mean, that should be fun. It shouldn't be suffering, and trudge along.
That's so old age.
Yes, it is.
One thing that I have learned during this whole process is there's never one person now. It's never about one person, and nobody has to do it on their own anymore. Before we did have individuals that came in and they helped, bring ripples to the planet.
Yes.
And really spread new ideas and awakening ideas. But now it's about the whole. It's all about the whole. Before it was one, but now it's always two. It's always the group coming in, and we're all coming in with this responsibility to raise the vibration of the planet, and more people are awakening constantly. And as this council spreads their energy across the grid of the planet, more and more people awaken. And not just this council, but this is a huge project. There are so many councils involved right now, and not just extraterrestrials either, but so many different types of light beings coming in and working with this planet to help it to ascend.
Okay, can we talk a little bit about some of the terms? Because maybe some of the people, maybe we're not preaching to the choir. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to go over a few of the keywords that you picked up, that I picked up from you, and ask what that means in your definition. For instance, let's start with an easy one. Okay, you've called them star seeds. What is a star seed?
A star seed is an extraterrestrial, and they come from their planet and they enter into the Earth planet, and they bring with them the DNA coding of their original home planet, and it has a point of activation. So at some point in their life it activates, and when the DNA activates, they begin to understand their mission, because all of these star seeds that are coming in, they all have a divine mission to help realign the planet, help balance it, and help it come back to what the council always terms it, is its original frequency, the original vibration that the planet used to have, because it's significantly lowered. So these star seeds are people who come from other planets, and they incarnate here for that specific purpose, to help the Earth to ascend.
And they would presumably incarnate into the DNA groups of the people who have seeded this planet before. Am I speaking? Do you see what I'm saying? So say there was a bunch of Pleiadians who may have landed on the planet and seeded this planet and formed part of Atlantis or Lemuria or something like that. And come up to the present day, there's people with Pleiadian DNA, and the starseeds would come in through this family group. Is that right?
I don't come from the Pleiades, actually. I come from a universe outside of this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I come from a specific galaxy within that universe that's called Dianastia. And actually, the interesting thing about that universe is that we don't operate in physical bodies or astral bodies there. We actually are operating out of our emotional bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything there, the way that we communicate all through feelings, and we send feelings back and forth to one another. And like, for instance, here, if I were going to meet you in person, I would walk up to you and I would shake your hand and say, hi, nice to meet you. But on Dianastia, if I wanted to get to know you, I would have what I would call a merge with you. And so I would lock into your emotions and you would lock into my emotions. And when you're first meeting someone, I call it a shallow merge. You would have like a shallow merge. It would just last for a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But during that period of time, you would be seeing everything that the person has been seeing, and you would feel everything that they are feeling.
Wow, that sounds incredibly intimate.
Yeah, and so when you're first meeting them, you're just doing, this only lasts for a few seconds, but then as you develop a relationship and get to know the person more and more, you're connecting with that person.
Mm-hmm.
So that, wow, how do I put this?
Well, you are connecting with them in a more intimate way. I mean,
Yeah.
The more intimate you know them, the more intimate the connection would be.
Right, and
The
that's part of what I bring here. I really love people, and I can look right into people and I don't judge them. And that's part of what comes from Dianastia, because when you're there and someone is being so open with you and you're being so open with them, well, you can't do that if you're going to judge the person.
No.
So every starseed, they come in with traits from their planet, and so that's one of mine. It's just my ability to really love people, to really feel compassionately toward them and understand where they're coming from and what their point of view is. And there have been a lot of people since I was a child who have really hurt me or despised me, and part of it was because of my abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Other children being very jealous. I never had anybody actually thinking, "Oh, you're insane," because of my religion. My abilities were allowed just so long as they were so long as called it Holy Spirit or whatnot. But I did have a lot of people who were very jealous of me, and some people who were pretty malicious toward me. But I could look at them and I understood the underlying reason. I knew why they were feeling that way toward me. And I understood, like, for instance, a lot of things that were going on with the other children at home and attention that they weren't getting. And I could look at them and I just really loved them. And like my mom, she would always say to me, well, they're not your friends. Why are you being this way toward them? Why are you being so good to them and letting them hurt you like this? And I would just say to her, well, I know they're not being my friend, but I'm theirs.
Oh.
I'm their friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so every starseed comes in with their abilities. And so we're not all Palladian, we're from all over the place. Like I said, I'm from another universe. And so this is multiversal, all of the people that are coming in, and we all have our traits. We all have the things that we bring in from our planet.
Right. Thank you. And then the next one. So you said starseeds, and then you said indigos. So in what way do indigos differ from starseeds?
Well, okay, there's what I call the indigo vibration, and then there's also the crystal vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, I'm a crystal starseed. That's how I term myself. And then my mom, Prosper, she's from Andromeda, so she's a starseed. She comes in with the indigo vibration. And what the indigo vibration is, it's like a warrior spirit. It's a warrior's vibration. And these people, they know the truth. They're very honest. They can look at the media and they can hear things that people are saying to them, and they can look at them in the eye and they know if the person is being honest with them or not, and they want to change things. They look at their government and they see all the lies happening. They know everything that's going on behind the scenes, really. And they can just spot a lie like that, and they're here to break down systems, but they are warrior spirits, and so a lot of times they can have trouble with anger, but they're here to break down negative systems that are no longer needed. And the thing about anger is when it's a righteous anger, and when you take that anger and you use it in the correct way, it's not really a bad thing. It can release you out of a situation.
Yes, well, that's what I believe anger is for. I mean, in evolutionary, if there is a barrier in your path, anger is the thing that helps you clear. It gives you the energy to clear the barrier.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so that's exactly what you've just been saying. So I probably would say that the indigos were maybe fourth ray souls and the crystals were seventh ray souls, but that's the way I'd put them. But there's these different energies. So your mother did you say your mother was a crystal or an indigo? Or you're the crystal and your mother's the indigo.
Yes.
Yes.
And are there any other classifications of incoming energies?
Well, there is a third that many people are talking about right now. It's the rainbow vibration.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel that has incarnated yet. There may be a few rainbows who are here, and that isn't a vibration that the council has spoken to me very, very much about, because it isn't coming in here yet. It will come in here really after the 2012 shift is when that vibration will start coming in.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be, they're going to be even more open than the crystals were. For instance, the crystals are more open and more aware than the indigo vibration. And so they need to be in an environment where they're welcome and where there isn't so much of a struggle.
Yeah.
And that's really the reason that the indigos come in with so
clearing
much
the path.
fiery spirit.
Yeah.
Because they won't have so much trouble.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of
Path. I think there used to be a word culd path cutters. Which is probably what we'd call indigos, and there are many children who they try to drug them because they keep talking the truth. And it's like, just shut up.
Yeah.
They don't like their energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next term that I'd like to for you to speak on is the Ascension Process.
All right. Well, the Council for the Assistance to Earth, they have a very specific way of describing what the Ascension Process actually is, and it's basically, it is all about, as I said earlier, coming to your original frequency. Because, as I said, our frequencies are very much lowered, and so is the Earth. The Earth really mirrors us, and the thoughts that we put out, the emotions that we put out are affecting it, and we have really helped in this process of significantly lowering its vibration as ours lowered. So it's a matter of raising our own vibrations, bringing them into a higher dimension, and then the Earth begins to ascend into a higher vibration, a higher dimensional frequency, until it's back to the original frequency, the frequency that it was made to have. But when we come back to our original frequency, we are transformed. We're still, the council always speaks of it as still being in a physical form, but you are able to do things that you could not do with your limited thinking. And it's all about opening up your mind's capacity and being able to accept new thoughts and new thoughts about the way that we function. Mm-hmm. Because we a projection of our minds. It looks solid. It looks so real. I'm sitting in this room. I have walls around me. I'm in a chair. It feels solid. The room looks solid. But I have to understand that this is just something that I have projected around myself and that I've attracted to myself. And my body, especially, it's just a projection of my mind, and all of my thoughts have completely controlled my body to be the way that it is now. Aging, dying, getting sick, having to take other energies in order to sustain my form here, like water, food, sun, oxygen. These are all things that when you think about it, even though it sounds bewildering or maybe frightening or just insane, it's really true when you think about it, because when you are so connected to your God source that you are yourself, there isn't any lack. And so you don't need to take in energy outside of yourself, like food or liquid or oxygen. You don't need sleep in order to rejuvenate your body, because your body is so connected to its God source that you don't need anything outside of it. And that's where we're headed. We're headed to a place where there isn't any death. We're not killing things in order to survive. And we get to the point where we're not killing one another either. So it's not just a physical thing. It's also the way that we interact with one another. So it's our bodies and the way that they function, but it's also peace surrounding the planet and the fact that we're not going to be hating one another. There isn't going to be victimization, and no, there's not going to be this idea of prey and victim and we're all coming at one another and against one another. It's all harmony, and everything becoming one. And that's what we're ascending to, but it's all about the individual raising their own vibration, and they do that mainly by accepting new ideas and realizing who they are, what they really can be, how they can really function and operate, and then beginning to speak it all the time. Speak that all the time. Right. Don't accept these thoughts of death. Don't accept thoughts of sickness. Don't accept these thoughts that are being given to you. And the council always talks about the reptilian race also, that the reptilian race is giving us these thoughts, that the reptilian race brought in such concepts as fear, manipulation, and then also physical concepts like death, ailments, and none of these are real. These are illusions, and we have to understand that these are not our thoughts and begin to connect with what the council calls our reality, which would be like your higher self, but it's your reality. It's what you really are. And as you connect to that, these thoughts of the real you come up. They come forward, and you realize your purpose. You realize what you're here to do. You realize how your projection, your physical projection should function. And then you ascend individually. As you ascend individually, everything around you changes. Everyone around you begins to interact differently with you, because you're operating on this higher frequency. So when you bump into that person, they can only be on a higher frequency too. And so you begin to change everybody and everything that is operating around you. And that's how the planet ascends. It's as individuals raise their own frequency.
Great answer, thank you. Ooh. So I'm getting all sorts of vibrations up and down me when you speak on that. So that's marvelous. So now we know what Ascension is, and now we know who the Crystal Children are, and the Indigo Children, and the Rainbow Children. That's very interesting. I have a friend who I believe. I mean, he is nothing but rainbows. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, why you all into rainbows? It's a bit gay," but he's completely obsessed by rainbows, and he's created a garden that is in different colours. As the year progresses, the garden changes colour through the rainbow.
Wow,
Wow.
that is really cool.
Yeah, he's my best friend here. As far as your connection with the council is concerned, is it something you can do? I mean, is it like Skype? Do you just dial them up? Do you just can you just sit and then they'll appear? And how do they schedule things? I mean, on a kind of practical way, do they exist out of our time sphere? Do you get me in what I mean by that?
The council definitely has their own time.
Yeah.
We've learned that so often. Palika Strina will say to me, well, such and such is going to happen tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next day, this and that and the other will happen. And then about 2 weeks later, those things will happen on that day, and then the following day, all these other things that she had said were going to happen will happen. And it's always been that way. She can say tomorrow and it happens next week. She can say today and it happens a couple days later. So
yes. Yeah, that's what I found with mine. That they use the term soon enough, which
Yes.
which could be like, well, 2 years away. Soon enough. Yeah, it's soon enough. It is soon enough. But yes, I see what you mean. But in terms of, say, so presumably they know that we're going to be speaking at this moment.
Right.
How do they know that? Are they listening all the time? Do they just know?
Well, they are in constant telepathic communication with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's part of it. They have infinite technology beyond our own. That would be another reason that they would know exactly where they are.
Yeah.
Where we are, I mean, their ships are near constantly orbiting our house. They're always orbiting around the planet. So yeah, they know everything that's going on with us. And as far as our scheduling, one thing that we've realized is we really have to say, okay, guys, this is how we're going to do it. I know that you would love to sit here and just talk all the time, just blab all day, because they are like that. I mean, you channel guides as well, so you probably know. And so we have learned to schedule these sessions, and we let them all know how long the session is going to go, and then they can say whatever they want to say. They have free range.
Right.
And I've had to do that with my readings as well. When the guides of other people come through and they want to talk, they used to just take absolutely forever. And so we've learned to say, okay, you have an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't really understand those concepts at first, I will say that. We had to kind of get with them on, okay, this is an hour.
Mm-hmm.
This is our concept of day. Yeah, they were a little bit shaggy on that.
Right. I get you. Well, an hour is 1/24th part of our planetary rotation.
Yes.
Why? I can imagine that. Why 24? But yes, I get you, and so that explains quite a bit there. So we're going to take a short break here. After that, we'll be speaking with Palika Strina. Don't go away. So we're back now, and we're talking with Prosper, and we're talking with Allinduath, and also we're talking with Falika Strina. And Falika Strina has some messages or a communication with us.
I am Falika Strina, head of the Council for the Assistance to Earth, and I greet you.
Greetings, Falika Strina.
Everything you are experiencing, everything around you, everything happening, everything. This is not real. You need to be aware of your purpose here. You have not been aware of your purpose here. You need to be aware of who you are. Why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? Why did you enter into this form, in your physical body, functioning here? Why are you here? Remember who you are. Remember why you concluded to come in here. Remember why you are here. You are here for a great purpose. You are not here for nothing. You are here to be great. You are here to shine out. You are not here to be nothing. You are not here to be small. You are here for greatness. You are here for great things. Rise up now. This is your opportunity. You are a star seed. You have a mission here. Do fulfill it. Remember who you are. Remember why you are here. Remember who you are. Remember why you are here. I am Falika Strina, head of the Council for the Assistance to Earth. Remember that I sent you here. Remember that so many star seeds were sent here by this council, and that is why we are here. We are reminding you that we were the ones who sent you here. We sent you here with the aid of the Galactic Federation and with the aid of many other councils who are aiding star seeds at this time on Earth. We are here to remind you that you must activate now. You are here with an important mission. Do not forget what it is. Do not hold back and be silent. Remember who you are. Do not forget. This Earth causes you to fall into a deep sleep, into a decay of your mind. You forget why you were sent in. You are here for a purpose. Remember who you are. You are here, my star seed, with a mission, with a purpose that you are here to fulfill. You did not come in for no reason, so do not look down upon yourself. Do not think that you are here without purpose, or that you are normal or average in any way. No starseed will ever be average. They are not here for no purpose. Remember why you are here. Remember your infinite wisdom, your infinite authority. You are power beyond measure, and you cannot be contained. You are the God force. The God source shines out through you. It speaks through you when you tap into it. Remember who you are. Remember the vibration that you came in with. Remember that your vibration will rise above all decay of mind. All reptilian thoughts will cease when you begin to tap into your own mind's vibration and realize what your own individual mind is saying, because this mind that you are operating out of now has so many thoughts within it that are not yours. They are not yours. They are being given to you. You were assigned people, reptilian people, from the reptilian race. They are with you, and they are transmitting thoughts into your mind. In dimensions around you, they transmit these thoughts to you. You cannot accept them. You must hold your vibration higher, and you must move to higher territory and begin to accept the thoughts of your reality's vibration. You are here to break through. Every thought, every system must crumble. You are here with unique thoughts written in your DNA codes that you have been sent in with. And you are here so that these false beliefs shatter. They will no longer hold you. They will no longer hold the people of the human race. The people of Earth will be at peace instead of war. The people at Earth will vibrate with the frequency of love rather than the frequency of hate. It is this hate frequency that causes the earth to be destroyed by the human race. The earth is on the vibration of love. That is its real vibration. Why are you here? Who are you? What is your real vibration? What is your real vibration? What is your real vibration? Do not think thoughts of judgment or of hate. You are being influenced by those around you who are not good. They are not here for your benefit. They are influencing you with thoughts of hate. You need to rise above these thoughts. You are not a victim. Remember that you are not a victim, and then your love will shine out, because it is only victimhood that needs hate or needs fear. When you are on the vibration of fear, that is what causes you to discriminate against others, because you are afraid of their reaction towards you. If you are being your real self, if you are operating out of your real heart, your heart of love, you are love. You are love. You came in with the frequency of love. Remember that you are love. There is no time when you are not love. Rise out of this darkness and decay. Rise out of this decay of mind and be love. Remember your unique nature. It is love. The vibration is love. Love for yourself, and then it pours out to others. You shine out amongst them because of your love for yourself and because of your love for them. And nothing can hurt you. No one can harm you. No thing can overtake you, because you are on a vibration that is higher than any lower vibrational hatred, any lower vibrational crime that could be committed against you. It cannot vibrate at your frequency when you are on the frequency of love. And if it is not vibrating at your frequency, you cannot pull it towards you, because you are in another dimension which is higher than the dimension of hatred, higher than the dimension of fear. Do not operate out of fear. Release it from yourself, out of your heart chakra. Then connect to your reality. As you connect to your reality's voice, it stops the decay. And you no longer hear these thoughts of fear or of loneliness. My starseed, you are not alone. You have a whole force of guidance. They are with you. They are protecting you. They are here for you. You did not come here alone. You must rise now to your own vibration. This means you cannot accept any lower thing as your own. It is not you. You are on the vibration of love at all times. It is this vibration of love that sustains you, that upholds your unique vibration. This is you. This is the vibration you are always on. It is peace. It is love. It is comfort. It is not decay. It is not hatred. It is not death. You were not sent here to kill this planet. No one is here to kill this planet. Human beings are not coming here, incarnating here to learn from killing their planet. They need to rise up out of these thoughts of decay, from these thoughts of victimhood, which are fear-based. They are lack-based, but you lack nothing. The God force lacks nothing. You are the God force, my child. Human being, remember who you are. That you are the God force. You are the God source inside of you, and nothing can defeat you. Nothing can destroy you. You are only destroying your planet because of your fear of being destroyed. You are not here to destroy the planet. You are here to love it. It sustains you and gives you your life force in this physical form that you have decided to incarnate into. You are here with a purpose. You have not been sent here for no reason. Whether you are a human being or you are from another planet, you are not here without a purpose. The human race is not average. They are not here to be controlled. And this is my message. You must rise up out of your decay, out of these thoughts that wish to cause you not to be. These thoughts are not coming from you. They are not on your vibration. You must rise and come into your original frequency. You must understand what it is, that it is love at all times. You are always on the frequency of love, my child. You are always love. You are never hate. You are never emptiness. And you do not operate from the stance of fear. You have nothing to be afraid of. Everything coming to you is allowed by you. Everything that does not come is not allowed by you. And you are ultimately the one in control. Because you are the God source. And it is in control of itself. Nothing outside it controls it. And there is deep peace in that knowing. You are not here to be controlled or manipulated. You are here to be divine. You are here to be divine. Do not judge people. They are a part of you. You are all one. Unique, yes, but you are all one. You are all the God force, and it will shine out of you, and it will defeat all darkness with the magnitude of its light. Its prevailing light will shine out all over this planet, all out through this earth, and it will illuminate all darkness. It will defeat all fear. It will not ever be contained. Shine out. Shine out. Be yourself. Do not be manipulated. Remember what you came in with. You started off as a pure thought. You were a pure emotion. You were a pure being, and you were brand new, and the God Source looked upon you with love in its eyes. You were cared for. You were showered with love. You were protected, exalted. You were admired. The God Source loved you. It saw your unique qualities as good. All it saw of you was good. There was no darkness. There was no darkness. But now you have entered here into this new vibration. It is a lower vibration. But rather than accepting it, you must remember who you are and come back to your original frequency, which is love, which is purity of thought and purity of emotion. Understand you hurt yourself when you think negative things about other people. When you think something negative of another, you are hurting yourself. When you are not in control of your emotions, and you are feeling negatively, and you are hurting people around you, or you are simply hurting, you are feeling sorry, or you are feeling bad, you are affecting everything around you. You must learn to control your emotions and get out of this stance of victimhood and rise to the stance that you are always on. This is love. I am love. I am on the frequency of love, and I operate on this frequency at all times. This is why I have ascended. And I am here on this vibration, helping you with everything in me. All I want is your success. This council wants you to succeed. They love you. They love every part of you, every breath inside of you. We are here to support you, and we accept you. Everything you have ever done is accepted by us. You are accepted. Understand that you are accepted, and you will no longer judge others, because you will accept yourself. You are the God Source. Accept who you are and remember your own power. Remember what it is. It is love, my child. It is always love. I am Felikastrina of the Council for the Assistance to Earth. We are supporting you. We are raising you up to a new level of awareness that will shatter the old systems and old ways of being that you do not deserve. You deserve a world that is new, that is peaceful, that is loving in its vibrational frequency toward you and everyone. Remember what the earth was like and why you are now here, what the shift will bring about, why you are here, what you will cause, what you have to say, what you have to bring in with you. You are not unimportant, and you are very loved by this council. I am Felika Strina, and I and the entire council, for the assistance to Earth, do bid you namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Felika Strina. So, Prosper, while we're waiting for Ali to settle back on her chair, would you tell us a little bit about your experience with her friends on the council?
Yeah, she's kind of coming down. The energy is very, very high, but sometimes they come in very, very strongly. Well, especially for Kastrina. But yeah, each of them have their own personality. And there are 4 people from the council that she channels. Felika Strina is the head of the council, and they actually have kind of a protocol of their own, a bit of hierarchy. It helps them work together. It's not exactly patriarchal. It's not like that down here, but we are. But she has a first assistant, and that would be Ezekiel Mimkat, and he's actually Atlantean. He had a life on Atlantis. And then her second assistant is a being called Fangidale, and he's actually from a nature dimension of another planet in the universe, and I don't remember the name myself. But he's actually a doctor, and he's very soothing when he talks, whereas Mimkat pretty much gets straight to the point, very, very down-to-earth type of person. Fangidale is very soothing, he's very encouraging, and he's someone that can help you. And he often in his messages says, "Call on me," and he can help you with physical ailments, any kind of problem you're having in your emotional or your mental body. So really, any kind of illness, you could say, he can help you with. And then there's Plashdar. Plashdar is the spokesperson for the council. She is actually a 7th dimensional Andromedan. And so she's the 4th person. And she comes across a lot of times with kind of a mother energy, but she's also a warrioress from Andromeda. So she's can get very straight to the point too. So they all come in with their own personalities because they're all people. They're people from different dimensions or different areas of the universe or the multiverse than us, but they're still people. And
are they aware of Morenet and what was that other one? Of Alex Collier's contact?
Oh, I imagine. I've never spoken about that, but she's Andromedan. So she's Andromedan, so yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, they don't really allow me to look at materials of other channels or of contactees because they want to keep everything very pure where I'm hearing exactly what they're saying and none of my beliefs are getting in the way.
Yeah.
And so I've never read very much on any of the things that I channel about. Actually, I just get it straight.
Okay, yeah. So your perceptions are not coloured by what you think you know.
Right. Well, what's going on here is actually Felika Strina. The first thing that she said to me when she came through was that it would be short. And what just happened, I was telling Mom that I felt a second person, that I felt Fangile walking up, and he's just saying that they're trying to protect my physical body. He's saying that I'm not, he just says that I'm not ready for it yet because I'm not used to doing so much live channeling. We might do this again at some other point.
Yep, that would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fine. Yeah, I mean, while we've been speaking, a couple of thoughts have crossed my mind. It'd be so cool to have a show, that you had a slot on a show somewhere on a regular or occasional basis, so that people would receive spoken messages, because the energy comes across when you hear the voice, as opposed to it being typed on a screen.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can actually hear the personalities.
Yeah.
When you read the messages, sometimes their personalities come across, but it's not so much their words though, it's more the way that they say it, or their intonations.
And their passion.
Mm.
Yeah.
And like I said, just the different personalities. Mm-hmm. But she is very passionate. Rika Serena is very, very passionate.
And she's very passionate for Earth. I think that's probably one of the main reasons that she's the head of the council, why they all decided to select her. Because there are plenty of people that would have been qualified enough to do it, but I think she's just extremely passionate for the human race and for the starseeds also.
Starseeds and the planet herself. Yeah.
Mm.
Very passionate.
Yeah, so, well, maybe I could speak with you two about this. Presumably, you've spent 5 years channeling. You might have gathered a few nuggets here and there. So, I mean, if you don't mind, can I ask you questions? Is that fine?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so, well, one of the first questions is, and I'm sure it's on a lot of people's minds, but, what makes Earth so special?
Oh, Earth, so special.
Yes. And us here now on this planet at this time, so special that it needs.
Actually, they speak about many planets and not just Earth. And this council, the Council for the Assistance to Earth, they're specifically here to help Earth. But actually, they talked to me about there being a number of primitive planets. And they call them primitive because they don't have the technologies that can withstand the reptilian race and other races that have allied with the reptilians. And what they say is actually that the reptilians were originally from another multiverse. And they came into this one, or rather they were sent into this one, and they wanted a planet, and they took over a planet and they had it for themselves, but they weren't satisfied with just that one, and so they started going all through the universes within our multiverse, and they started trying to take over other primitive races and cultures that couldn't withstand them with their own technologies. And so this council, the Council for the Assistance to Earth, is one council that is trying to protect this planet. So it's not, they're a council that's trying to protect one of these planets. So it's not just about Earth alone. It's really like a global ascension process that we're trying to experience here. So it's more than just Earth involved. There are a lot of planets within our universe and within our multiverse that are going to have their ascension process. So it's really a multiversal thing that we're experiencing here, and it goes back to the concept of we're all being one. So there again, just like it's not one individual. It isn't really just one planet. It's all of these primitive planets. And once they ascend, they're going to have technologies that can communicate with these other races. We're going to develop our own hailing technologies, for instance. And a lot of people, one thing that a lot of people ask is, is the council or other extraterrestrials, are they going to make a big introduction and come down here and save all of us? But they always say that they are helping us to do that ourselves. We need to come up with our own hailing technologies that we can communicate with them with and establish our own communications with them, because then we'll be allied with them on an equal level of understanding. We will have developed our own technologies, and also we will end up with our own government and our own cultures and our own beliefs, because right now so many of the beliefs that we have are really Illuminati controlled, and so ultimately it's reptilian controlled, because the reptilians are really what's behind the whole Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
That's controlling the government and the media. But they're doing this on many other planets as well. It's not just Earth that these reptilians are wanting to control. It's really like a mass takeover that they're trying to have happen.
So, thank you for that answer. That's a very good answer, and that also referred to some of the things that Alex Sculler had said with regard to the origin of the reptilians as well. So that's a very interesting crossing point there. Thank you. With regard to us gaining our technologies. And indeed, well, I mean, all right. Let's just go back. One of the implications of this is that like you were saying before about the way that one person becomes ascended, and then as they touch other people, those other people are sparked to ascend themselves.
Right.
Yeah. Is that the same thing that's happening with Earth? Are we one of the first planets to ascend in this particular cycle? Or are there other planets that have ascended and we're in the process of, as it were, being touched by them? I suspect.
There are a number of planets that have already ascended. There are also planets that were supposed to ascend and didn't, which is why so many starseeds are now being sent out really en masse to this planet and to these other planets as well that need to ascend at this time. And there are periods of ascension in different universes, in different galaxies. So there are other primitive planets that aren't going through their ascension cycle right now. It's taken us a long time to get to this point in our history where we're going to be ascending. And what was I saying?
Oh, this is one of those edit moments.
This is one of the edit moments, yeah. This normally happens after
I know, yeah.
Yeah, you get a bit of brain freeze there.
Yeah.
So, well, the question was, are we one of the first people to be touched? So basically, we're kind of in the middle of the process. There are ascended beings ahead of us and ascended beings behind us who we will touch. So does this imply that we once we've ascended, we'll be continuing off planet?
We'll be continuing what? Sorry?
Off planet. So, there are humans who have ascended from Earth, leaving this planet to travel to others to help them ascend.
Wow. They've never talked to me about that before.
That's a good one.
That's really a good point. I'm going to ask them about that. But yeah, they've never mentioned that to me before, and I've never thought of asking them either. That's a good question.
Yeah, because I mean, to me, it seems like this is a continuum. It's not like one thing that will happen and it will never happen again. It's a continuous process, and because evolution is a process, and presumably we are like at a point which is like a blockage, because we've been held down for many thousands of years. That once we're released from that, that should then spark our ability to assist others, and presumably that some of us will join councils for the assistance of Sterope or wherever.
That only makes sense because it's our technology. As we ascend and we're able to raise our own technology, we will be able to go out, and we'll also be more on the level of these beings such as we are channeling here.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a very bizarre question, and I'll see what your response is. Have they ever conversed with you about what happened about 50,000 years ago on Earth, when a planet in our solar system was destroyed, and that there were beings that came to this planet who later formed the Illuminati?
No, I don't believe that they've ever spoken to me about that.
Because you mentioned earlier that there was that our vibration has been lowered due to the intervention of other beings.
Yes, they have mentioned to me. They do talk about they talk mainly about the reptilian race,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the extraterrestrials that they've converted. They also say that the reptilians, that they actually have a religion, and that they do convert other planets to their way of thinking and to their system of beliefs. So it's really like a dogma that they have, and they convert these other races to think in the way that they do and to join their war. And as far as what you were saying before, though, about us affecting other planets, like this kind of brings me back to that, because actually Ezekiel Mimkat, he heads a council. It's called the Council for Uncovering Reptilian Deception.
Yes.
And he mentioned to me that there was actually a planet, a primitive planet, and it's fairly near this one, he said. And he said it was in a neighboring galaxy, and this planet, all of the primitive planets have a reptilian ship. It's a reptilian mothership, and it encircles the planet. It orbits around the planet, and that is how it sends thoughts to, like, the human race or to the races on these other primitive planets. They do it via this mothership that encircles the planet.
And that's what we call the moon.
Yes. Now, one thing about the council, though, is they always meet on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
They have always said to me that they meet on the moon, and that they look outside and that they're seeing part of this reptilian ship. And so I know that on the moon there are actually allying races that have set up their buildings and their coordinates. So even though it's a reptilian ship, it's not completely reptilian controlled. And actually, by having their meetings on the moon, they're hearing a lot of the tactics that the reptilians are deciding upon as far as their strategies in controlling the Earth population and controlling these other populations of people.
So do they not have an influence on the technology that's on the moon that is controlling our minds? Is there some way of switching off the transmitter, so to speak?
Well, the thing about that is we are accepting the thoughts. and the allying races aren't allowed to interfere with what we are accepting. What they can do is protect us. The reptilians are constantly sending fire to the planet. They're constantly deflecting that away from us, so that we're not affected or that our planet isn't destroyed. But they're not allowed to force new thoughts on us or to take thoughts away. What they are allowed to do is to enable us, empower us. They're allowed to suggest new thoughts. And if we accept them, then we ascend and become more to our own power. So they are trying to empower us, they're trying to awaken us, but it's about us accepting these thoughts and whether or not we will accept them or we'll discard them. Right now, every human being is accepting certain reptilian thoughts, and so they can't really just cut us off from them. They're really not allowed to do that, but they are trying to help us to deflect these thoughts away by accepting these new thoughts that they're giving. Because if you're raising your own vibration, then you're automatically in a vibration that can't accept those thoughts that are coming toward you.
So in a way, it's a bit like you're either you're either receiving or you're transmitting, and if you're transmitting, you're not receiving the negativity.
Right. But they're not allowed to forcefully remove thoughts or forcefully give us thoughts, because the whole point is that we end up with an earth that is human controlled. It's the humans are the ones who decide what their beliefs are, what their religion is, for instance, what their culture is. And the reptilians have been deciding that, and they don't want to replace that with their own beliefs or their own ideas and concepts. They want to allow ours up. And so they connect with our planet Earth, and they connect with dimensions of us that are on a higher vibration, basically to see what we want. What are our original thoughts? What are we really bringing in here? And then they help us to find those thoughts, and they send those out to us, and thoughts of awakening to those dimensions of ourselves. And as we accept that, we raise ourselves into those higher aspects. But they cannot force their own ideas upon us, because that would be the exact same thing that the reptilians are doing. And they're not operating out of control. They're operating exactly like Felicia Strina said. They're operating out of love.
Out of love, yeah. Deja vu. Excellent. So this is very interesting. So, one of the thoughts that I've had is there going to be a point when the reptilians decide to leave this planet and leave us alone? Have they already done so? Do they know that their time is limited? Is there a deadline that they're supposed to be off the planet by? Has it already passed? Are they overdue?
Well, they're not allowed to be on the planet now. They're never allowed to do any of the things that they're doing. There are universal laws and multiversal laws that prevent this kind of behavior, which is why there are so many races at war with them, because obviously these are higher dimensional beings. They are operating out of love. They want peace. They don't want war, and they would never be in a war with anyone if they had any other choice. But the reptilians, from all of my channelings, they've just proven time and time and time again that they don't want peace, that all they really want is war and to take over the planet. And so really with their, I want to say personality, I mean, the way that they think and function and their emotions, I don't believe that they would ever just decide, okay, we're going to leave the planet now. They're not people who would give up. At least that's one thing that we can actually learn from the reptilians. When they get an idea and they have a goal, they keep going at it and they don't stop. So I don't believe that they're going to just say, okay, well, we give up and you can have the planet. They're going to keep trying, especially when they've gotten this far. But we have so many allies around us. We have so many people protecting us, and good will win out, and the planet is going to ascend. And I do believe that there is protection for the planet, that it's not going to be allowed not to ascend. We are going to ascend, and that is why so many starseeds have been sent. And as I said before, there were planets that didn't ascend, but now this council and many other councils, the Galactic Federation of Light, are sending all of these starseeds in to prevent that from happening. Because if you get enough people who will accept these thoughts from these higher dimensional beings that are being sent in rather than the reptilian thoughts, then you have enough people raising their own vibration. And again, that will spread. That'll spread all throughout the planet.
That's very good. And so in terms of the raising of the vibration, that can also mean not blindly obeying any law or stupid laws. I'm not talking about laws about not harming other people, but things like having to buy licenses and having to pay taxes and things like that, because these are all reptilian concepts.
Right. Right. Well, you're exactly right. Don't follow anything blindly, because it's really all about thinking.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just about thinking and using common sense and questioning, which again is the indigo vibration. Really questioning everything, and don't just take something as it is. If something appears a certain way, that doesn't mean that it really is that way. And if something looks good, perhaps it is, and perhaps it isn't. And the same thing is something that looks bad, because we're taught that so many things are bad, when in fact they may actually be good when we take a closer look at them. And so it's all about thinking and expanding your mind's capacity, your mental capacity to accept new ideas. And as you do that, you become more aware, and your vibration automatically rises. And actually, the council, they're always talking to me, these four, they're always talking to me about all of the other councils that they're on, and it's really almost like classes for them. Actually, Belika Shrina even said this on the blog in her latest post. She was talking about all the councils that she's on, and how on some of these councils she was invited to be on them. So they invited her and they allowed her to be on this council, but it's all just so she can learn, because the people on some of the councils that she's on, they are on such a high vibration that when she's listening to them talk, she doesn't even understand the material or really understand what they're saying. But as she's there and as she keeps absorbing and she keeps listening, her mind becomes more and more aware of the subject, until finally her level of vibration rises so much that she's able to understand the material to the point where she can get up and she can put in her 2 cents about it. And all of these councils do have like students on them. Mm-hmm. They all have pupils on them. Even the Council for the Assistance to Earth has some people that are assigned to it that are just sitting in. They're not allowed to give their feedback, mainly because they're not able. They're not able to give their feedback because of the vibration that they're on. It's really too low. Mm-hmm. And so really, them not being able to bond, it's almost the council's way of being nice to them. since they don't know the material of the conversation. But it's all about learning. It's all about learning, increasing your mind's mental capacity to expand and grow. And as you can think new thoughts, then they replace old thoughts, and you're automatically raising your vibration, and you're not able to be controlled by lower thoughts that are sent toward you. Because as soon as they're sent toward you, you start to think, hey, wait a minute, that isn't right. Whereas before, you would have automatically listened to it and obeyed the thought and obeyed the system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I've been reading through some of the blogs that you've put down there, and one of the interesting things was, I think it was from Fralika Strina. She says that it's like training your mind in the same way that you train your mind not to put elbows on the table. After a while, after your mother says, "Don't put your elbows on the table, dear," after she says that 100 times, eventually you automatically don't put your elbows on the table.
Right.
I have to say that my elbows sit on the table quite a lot, and but we have all these different areas where we're slightly more ahead in some aspects than in others. So I may be able to not think such negative thoughts, but I still put my elbows on the table, if you see what I mean. So so presumably there are there are areas that everybody, including the members of the council, are, let's say, not of the highest vibration quite yet.
Right. For instance,
I mean, they're only human, as it were.
Right, exactly. And for instance, part of the reason that Fralika Strina is the head of the council is because, she's considered to be the one of the highest vibration on that council. And it's always the one with the highest vibration that heads it up. But like Ezekiel Mimkat, he's on the 9th dimension, whereas Fralika Strina is on the 11th. And Ezekiel Mimkat, as I said, he actually leads 2 councils. He leads the one I mentioned, the Council for Uncovering All Reptilian Deception, but he also he's an Atlantean, and so he also leads an Atlantean council, the Atlantean Council for the Restoration of Earth. And Fralika Strina, she's not on that one because she's not Atlantean, but she's on his other council. And even though she's on the 11th, she's not heading it up. And that's because in an area where you know more about your subject, you're more aware on it, your vibration automatically goes up. And she doesn't know nearly as much about the reptilian war and their tactics and their maneuvers as Ezekiel Mimkat does. And also, because he was an Atlantean, and they talk a lot about the Atlantean corruption, he was an Atlantean here while that was happening, and so he knows firsthand how the reptilians operate and how they cause your mind to accept their thoughts. And so his vibration, when he's talking about this subject, he knows so much about it that his vibration is automatically higher. And so he ends up on a higher vibration than he normally would be. And he's on a higher vibration than when he's speaking to the Council of the Assistants to Earth. But then he has his certain area of expertise where his vibration is up much higher. And so he would speak on that.
That makes sense.
So on each council, it's the person with the most knowledge. That's the person who has their vibration the highest. So again, it's all about increasing your knowledge, increasing your mental capacity and thinking and learning and expanding your mind.
And absorbing vibration.
Exactly.
Because when you're with somebody of a higher vibration, you're lifted into their space.
Exactly.
That's like almost a spiritual tenet, that's what happens, That's why people go to see gurus, or they have been in the past, that the guru holds the highest vibration, you go to absorb their vibration. And
Right.
now, what about, is that a two-way process? Is there a situation where somebody with a higher vibration meets somebody with a lower vibration, and then they have to deal with the person's low vibrations, because as you merge, you know, one may take on the other, and the person with the higher vibration to start with has to then deal with the low vibrations that they absorb from the other person.
Well, higher vibration is always more powerful, but
Of
it
course.
really has to do with what you're accepting. Who is accepting whose thoughts, really?
Mhm.
If the person on the lower vibration is accepting these higher vibrational thoughts from the other individual, their vibration is going to go up. And if this person on the higher vibration, vice versa, if they are accepting the thoughts of this lower vibrational person, then they'll go down. And that also has to do with a subconscious level. So it has to do with you going in and finding out what your beliefs are during meditation, and looking at all of the dimensions within yourself. Because just like I'm thinking all the time, I'm always having thoughts going through my head. Every other dimension of myself always has thoughts going through its head.
Hmm.
So they're down there or up there blabbing away, you know, and they've got all of their beliefs, and I have to connect with those, and I have to release them, or I have to accept them consciously as my conscious beliefs that I'm going to hold in my own awareness.
Good answer. No, I mean it's good enough to. I mean, even without the council people, I mean, you've been there with them for 5 years, and no doubt you have absorbed some of their vibration.
Yeah, for both of us, our vibrations have so increased. When I first started channeling, I was in a very negative situation. And we had to get out of that. And then, as I was saying earlier, we had to also release our narrow-minded beliefs. And also my abilities just really, they increased more and more and more. And my clairvoyant abilities. And as a kid, I had been able to see so many entities. And then as I got older, I just wasn't able to see as many because my vibration, like she said, you come in with these pure thoughts and these pure feelings, and then as you stay here, they keep lowering if you are accepting these thoughts you're given. So yeah, as I've spoken to them, my own awareness has so increased that my abilities have increased, and also other things like the people that I attract. I used to attract some very lower vibrational people that were malicious toward me or wanted to hurt me. And it had to do with these dimensions of myself, things that they believed, and victimhood, like she said. But as I raised my own awareness, that's another thing that's changed. The people that I'm attracting, they're all really good to me. They're all nice to me. They're all encouraging. And one thing that I had a problem with as a kid was so many people were jealous of me, and now I'm attracting a lot of people who are just really, really confident in whatever they do. They're just very confident, and they don't consider someone else better than them, and so they can look at someone's abilities and appreciate it, just like I'm going to look at theirs and appreciate theirs. So you can see as you are raising your vibration, just so many little things around you and so many different ways that your life changes. You can see that you've raised your vibration just based on everything around you that you're attracting. And then also there are points when I just somebody says something to me, and a week ago I would have reacted one way, and now this week they're saying it to me, and I react a completely different way, and in a much healthier way. That's another thing that both of us have noticed a lot, just that our communications and our reactions to people and our reactions to events that happen around us, they don't throw us off. We're able to stay on a higher vibration. And so then we just attract that less and less, and all of those lower things just really begin to fall away.
Right.
And you don't have them anymore because they're not on your dimension. You're in a dimension that's above it, and so it's out of bounds with you. If something is out of bounds with you, it can't touch you. You can't pull it into your vibration. You can't have it in your experience because it doesn't match you. You're not lining up with it or being where it's at.
Yeah, there's no sockets for it.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah.
You're up here and it's down there, so it can't get to you.
So, in terms of over the last few years, has anything changed actually physically about you? I mean, do you find that your physical body has changed in any way? Have you noticed anything like that?
Yes, actually I have. As far as physically, just more and more, I'm actually unable to eat meat. I literally can't eat it. And there are other things more and more I can't eat them. Even when I eat plants, for instance, now, I feel life. Like when I'm eating a salad or whatnot, I'm eating it and I'm feeling like the vibration in my mouth of life. It just feels like life force in my mouth, and I just more and more I just can't eat it, and I started eating lighter and lighter and lighter foods. Basically all I drink now is water. Sometimes I drink tea, but that's it. And then food, I'm going more and more, I'm eating basically just fruit. Because it grows off of the tree.
Yeah, you don't kill the tree by eating the fruit.
Exactly. You're not killing it. And so that's one thing that I've definitely noticed more and more. I'm not able to eat death. And also, as a kid, and a teenager, before I really got into channeling the council, I slept for, 8 or 9 hours every single night. And now I just don't need that amount of sleep. I have a lot more energy, and I feel better all the time. I was very sickly actually growing up. I had a lot of health problems, and now I still get some of that sometimes. But it used to last for, I'd get it really often, colds and all different kinds of things, and they would last for at least a week. Now, if I ever get anything like that, it's not really ever even a cold. I just might get drained. But then it goes away. I mean, everything just goes away so much faster. I've had experiences where I've bruised myself or I've cut myself, and it's like a few hours later, the thing is nearly healed up. I've had some pretty astounding experiences actually with my physical body over the last few years. But most of those things are just occurrences that happen occasionally. But as far as sleeping less, and then what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, and the way that I feel, that's something that I experience all the time, and more I'm experiencing that.
And presumably that's something that as we all ascend, that would happen to us. We'd feel less and less like eating death.
Right.
Although I have to say, I've got a delicious chili con carne downstairs. There are some things that I'll miss. I've seen this process happen in other people, and like I say, I still put my elbows on the table, so I still eat meat. But there are things that I know that I imagine. I thought for many years that if I were to ever go like that, I would become completely vegan.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying that would you call it a fruitarian or something like that?
Yeah, and at this point, sometimes I still eat dairy just because I'm not killing anything in order to eat that. But eventually, I'm not going to eat any of that either. But I'm not even going to need it. It's just happening naturally. I just need less and less naturally.
Fantastic. So, Prosper, would you tell us about the conference that you're organizing?
Well, it's called the International Starseed Summit, and what it is a gathering, it's really a regathering of starseeds in Key Largo, Florida. It's going to be held November 11th through the 15th of this year, and we're going to have it at the Key Largo Grand Resort and Beach Club in Key Largo, Florida. That's actually the Hilton in Key Largo. And the point is that all of us had responded to a call at one point in time from the Galactic Federation to come here and help Earth. And we've actually all been together at some point in time before. So this is really a regathering of starseeds, but it's going to be a regathering physically. We're all very good at Skyping, and we're all very good at meeting each other in chat rooms and sending each other emails, or being talking heads, on YouTube. But this gives us the opportunity to come together, to actually shake hands, to hug each other's necks, and to really get to know one another. So I'm just inviting all starseeds who can come to the International Starseed Summit, November 11th through the 15th this year, 2010. And it's going to be held in Key Largo, Florida. And if they want information about it, all they have to do is go to crystalchildmessages.typepad.com and just go to the navigation button that says Starseed Summit.
Thank you very much, Prosper.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, I think I have enough material for a show now.
Oh, good.
Prosper, Allinduath,
yes.
It's been a great pleasure and an honor to speak to you and your friends. And no doubt we'll have more conversations as the time progresses, and perhaps we could have a regular update. I would very much like to speak to Ezekiel Mincat.
But I think a regular thing would be kind of nice, I really do, to have them. Because, see, the council, their whole drive is to get the messages out to as many people as possible. So, and that's why they had to start the blog. Mm-hmm. And so to have a venue where they could put the messages out, to even another audience that might never come to the blog, I think that would be a good idea, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And perhaps we should. Maybe that's a path. You have a talk with your people.
All right. I'll talk with my people. You talk with your people.
That's right.
My people will get with your people.
That's right. Prosper, Allinduath, thank you very much. And
thank you.
And well, I was going to say live long and prosper, but peace and long life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The same to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.